So today, after a year and a half plus hiatus, we will finally continue this. I don't know why, I just guess I forgot about it and I stopped streaming really altogether up until about a month ago, so I figured this would be a good time to go back into it. And the same thing happened with me with Dual Destinies, but for a different reason, was that the Case 2 was so bad in that game that I just took like a 6-month break after it, and then when I come back though, I'm usually pretty good about getting immersed and finishing it. So like, when I did come back after the 6 months, I did 3, 4, and 5 like in 1 week, like in a quick stretch, so I might do that here too. But let me do some recap. Give some background. So I've played obviously all the other main series games. So that includes the original trilogy, both the Miles Edgeworth games, 1 and 2, and then Dual Destinies. I haven't done the spin-offs. I've done Apollo Justice too, obviously. So all the main series titles except for this one. And what do you call it? Oh, I haven't done the spin-off like the Layton versus Wright. I might do that one day, I'll see. But I tend to not like spin-off stuff like that. And then the Great Ace Attorney is like its own little mini-series. They did make 2 parts, so I will do that at some point for sure. But no hurry on that. And so, to recap the first cases, I suppose. Let's see, so I beat 1 and 2. So I'll get some of the names wrong, I'm sure, because I don't remember. So, Case 1, they introduce you to the new country. I forget the name of it, so I won't botch it or make one up. But so Phoenix goes there, and he's going to meet Maya, I'm pretty sure. I don't think we actually saw Maya yet, but maybe we did briefly afterwards. We'll obviously see her a lot coming forward, I think. And interestingly enough, if you think about it, this is the first time you've seen Maya in how many games? Because you didn't see her in Dual Destiny, right? Unless I forgot. She wasn't even in that game at all. Or was she? I don't know. I don't think she was. So like, since Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations, so you don't see her in Apollo Justice. You don't see her in Dual Destiny, so it's been a while. And then, so you go in, you go to this new country, they talk about a revolution gonna happen in the opening cutscene, so we'll get to that later, I'm sure. In fact, this case will probably tie into it, because Case 1 is like just an introduction, Case 2 is a filler case in the sense that it doesn't seem to relate to the overall story, although it was a personal story of Trucy. And then, usually this case should be kind of hinting at the larger plot, even if it doesn't address it directly. So, yeah, Case 1, you take down this, his pun is like understanding is what his name's supposed to sound like, understanding, something like that. So, just call him Mr. Understanding. So he's like a priest slash musician at some sort of temple. He steals something, he frames it on the boy. And I was worried going into this that the spirit channeling aspect might ruin it, but they didn't do too much of it in the first case. There was a little bit at the beginning, and then you just go on to testimony, which was good. I prefer just standard testimony. I've always criticized the spirit medium aspect of the series. I never liked it. And when I heard the premise of the game, I was kind of turned off, like, how, the whole premise has spirit in the name, so that concerns me. But hopefully it won't overuse it or rely on it too much. And then, so that's the priest character on the left, or whatever she is. She's like a high-ranking official, and she's just like a kid. But she has some very strong psychic powers, so she can determine the outcomes of cases on her own, sort of, is the implication. So it's almost like you're not needed there. And the judge kind of won me over because he was reasonable. He sort of listened to you and gave you a chance to explain yourself. And even escorted her kicking and screaming out of the courtroom, so that was kind of a cool scene. And this guy was an okay villain, he wasn't bad. I especially like the confrontation music, the presto. That's like the final phase, the boss phase. That was great. I've listened to that like 100 times while playing chess and stuff over the last year plus. So I love that theme, even though I haven't finished this game. And then second case, anything else from the first case of interest? Kind of just the fact that since Phoenix is so established and he's done so many legendary cases, it's kind of hard to... It's kind of the challenge for the writers. Like, he can't just do conventional cases anymore. It wouldn't be impressive or anything. It has to be something crazy, otherwise it's like, oh, Phoenix could do this in his sleep by now. He's such a legend. So when you establish a character with such a pedigree, you kind of have to invent new challenges to make it interesting. So he's against like a whole country, a whole legal system here. So they're kind of trying to make you feel like your back's against the wall in such an extreme way, because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense that anything's a challenge for him anymore. So I do feel like that's a writing issue that a lot of series have sometimes. You build up a character for so long, you don't know how to challenge them anymore. But the first case did a good job of that. The challenge doesn't come from the crime being executed in a brilliant way, or from the villain even being that impressive as a character. It's more, again, about the structure, the court's against you, this medium character's against you, you're a foreigner so they won't take what you say seriously. So there's a lot of disadvantages there. And I imagine, because of the talk of revolution and stuff, it's kind of like Phoenix's enemy might end up being like the president or some big politician or something significant like that to justify, again, a challenge for him. It's not just going to be a chief of police this time or a man on guard or something small. It's got to be something big. So it could be some corrupt official, high-ranking government person, somebody like that. Even the Phantom was only a spy. This would be like someone on par with the Phantom's boss, like whoever hired him. Or of course Quercus Alba was like that. So that's pretty much case 1. So case 2, so it was a decent case. I like the introduction. I like the way they make you feel back against the wall. That first objection was really memorable. So a decent intro case, not bad, not terrible. Pretty good. So this is case 2. This was one of the most polarizing cases in terms of the investigation versus the case. I remember commenting on this a lot. So, of course, Phoenix is away, so this is happening in the same timeline, I'm pretty sure. So, like, it's not like a flashback case, I don't think. So Phoenix is away, dealing with what he's dealing with in this new country. So Apollo has to hold the fort. And so this photographer, I forget his fake name, but he's obviously Mr. Rias in the end. The real Mr. Rias. But Apollo is holding down the fort. And I think Athena's involved, but I forget. They don't show her here, so I don't know. Yeah, she was definitely involved because in court she does some of her antics with the psychology stuff, I'm pretty sure. But the investigation day was really interesting, despite it being about magic. That's a turn off immediately. It's like they started off the game in the most fan-unfriendly way. The two things that even diehard fans complain about, which is magic and spirit channeling in the series. So you start off with the whole premise being spirit channeling. The first case is heavy on spirit channeling. Second case is about magic. So you're starting off on the wrong foot already. Everyone hates the Big Berry Circus case. But anyway, despite all that, first day of investigation was great. It's one of the best, actually, probably in the series. It got you hyped up. I was intrigued by the photographer, why he has something against Trucy, what his whole story is. You eavesdrop on the bunny in the underground kind of area, backstage, and it's just like there's a certain anticipation. Like you don't know fully what's going on, but it was very interested to go into that day of court. They set it up really well. and then it kind of falls apart in the court itself. I didn't like the day in court until maybe just the very end. The twist was good. I didn't see it coming that he is Rias. I wasn't surprised that he was the villain. I was surprised that he was Mr. Rias. But a lot of those deductions on the day of trial weren't very good. I can say that even now, although I don't remember them fully. I remember not enjoying it. And the first half of the day in court felt like you don't even get any testimony or cross-examination. You're doing all these weird things with Apollo and his bracelet and maybe Athena's psychology thing. So they kind of bog you down with that against the bunnies. The whole twin thing is cliche. I didn't really like the day in court. But why was the investigation part so good? Just the way they introduced the characters, it was good, well-paced, it wasn't too long. There's a lot of intrigue, you don't know fully what's going on. It does feel kind of threatening, like your back's against the wall here even, because Phoenix isn't there to save you. And this guy is a well-written character, although you don't know what his motivation is, so you're kind of left to wonder till the very end. It was just a well-written investigation day. And I remember at the end of it being hyped, going to court. Can't wait to see what this guy's motivation is. Can't wait to see what the secrets are. The trick was kind of lame with the twin aspect. That was kind of a cheap trick. But yeah, it was a good case still. But if the day in court was better, it would have been much better. Let me actually look at the chapters to get a better idea. I remember just loving the investigation and being shocked by how good it was. And then they ruined it and look how much in the trial there is. So look, it starts off, introduction, the crime happens probably, learn from Trucy, you investigate, you question Bonnie, and at this point she's being all nice and cute. So you don't really suspect her of anything. And then beneath the stage, that was a good moment. You kind of eavesdrop and learn some things, so you were intrigued to find out what the bunny girl's up to, what her motivation is. I think this part, maybe I'll replay this just to get an idea of why I like that so much. The day starts, you cross-examine Emma. Okay, I didn't remember that part. Cross-examine Bonnie, although I don't feel like you actually cross-examine her. You just kind of do a bunch of weird other mechanics. Backstage malice, Trucy, shadow of the footage, retins. Okay, it's close enough to Rias. I mean, it has R-E-Z. Real culprits, final cross-examination. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that day in court. Let me actually do that, I guess. I don't know if I wanted to, forget it. It was just so good, I'm just curious. Okay, let's just skim through this and the end of the investigation and see why I was so hyped up. Better focus on doing something about this contract for now. Alright, so I just want to go through this quick and see what I liked so much about it, and then we'll do case 3. It's like backstage, right under the stage. This might be, this will take too long, I think. Can I just move there right now? Music's good, as usual though. So I have to go backstage somehow. I examine Emma. Shoot, this is the best part. I don't do voices either because I'm not good at them, but the text seems a little wonky. Maybe it's the way I'm capturing it, but this is the best we're gonna get. We have one of these in the office, don't we? Shelving units. We both know you'd be the one in the box if she ever did. So Athena is involved, I just didn't remember her too well. I should like her more since I'm all about psychology, but this dragon is a lot more handmade than I expected. I can't tell you how many hours I put into that freaking thing. You made it. Juicy had me put it together. As her assistant. Yeah, right. How old is she anyway? She's 17 and Apollo is like 20 something. That's kind of a weird way to say it. I guess they might end up together. That'd be cool. How do I get downstage? Like, under... You gotta, like, rotate it? It's a good way to familiarize my mechanics, too. Kind of awkward how some of these things work. Not real. She didn't mention it. Yeah. Can I just go downstage? Thank you, Bonnie. Well, Athena, here we go. So now you eavesdrop on them. Look, animation. You got a rat moving. Amazing. Let's get through this quick. Just see, now we eavesdrop on them. At some point you hear them down here. I guess you'd have to look at everything. I'll forget it. Let's just do the next case. Can we not save it? Whoops. You get the idea. That was a good... Not really, but you... Yeah, fuck that. Investigation day was good, and the case itself was not. Or I mean the trial itself was not. So I think I've seen this intro, but let's watch it. Or, I mean, I better just restart then, because I've seen it and then I saved it. So what's the point of that? Let me see how the text looks, because it was bugging out before. That's good enough. Whatever, I can't capture this any better. So let's restart. Just so we can see the intro. It was some guy in a mask chasing somebody down the street. And obviously that's Maya there in the picture. The Wright of Turnabout.
Wakey wakey 201. Got some more questions. Sound the alarm! Prisoner 201's escaped!
Well, you know, with Dad's back on the streets, things will be on the up and up for us.
Keep your voice down. You want that rebel hunter to find us or something?
Come on, we're small fries compared to... Huh?
Some guy in a mask, he's like a vigilante. Rebel hunter, they call him. I missed his name if he had one, but I'm sure we'll hear it plenty of times. My all-important attorney's badge, proof of my profession. Same as always. My guide. I'll be your guide. Okay, some of these pun names are getting a little bit stupid. Even Temple, really? Come on, we've had some good ones in the series over time. We don't need this kind of trash. I'll be your guide and something understanding. My guide, this industrious young man, is both a monk in training and a Kuranese tour guide. Okay. Another fine day in the king. Okay, I'm not gonna read like that, but... So how long has he been here since the first case. I guess they might give me some context on that. 2 weeks. I ask and I receive. 2 weeks. Starting to grow on you. Well, kind of a bad first impression. Of course, they had to reuse the pain motif thing. A little bit too much of that. It was a rough start. But you did good. I mean, you're not out of touch. So he might do this case, and then case 4 will be back to Athena and stuff. And Apollo, and then case 5 will be Phoenix again, or I'm not sure how the pacing will work. Like 1, 3, and 5, I'm just assuming. To do what I came here to do, meet Maya. Training is finally coming to an end. So how long has she been doing it? Since the end of Trials and Tribulations? Would that make sense? Because you don't see her in Apollo Justice, you don't see her in Duel of Destiny. Could be true. So in the time that Phoenix quit being a lawyer, she did this training. So it lasted so long, Phoenix got disbarred, he got his badge back, he took revenge on Kristoff. He did all that, and all she's done is her training. Before it does, something about one last rite she has to perform. I bet it'll end in a murder, of course. Isn't that always the way? Piraki. Is that supposed to be a pun too? I don't know. Traditional greeting. Oh, so he's secretly been practicing. Despite acting humble on the surface, I see you. You got used to life at the temple. I'd be worried about staying here if I just got arrested. I'd want to go somewhere else. That's far away. Some bad blood. Never pray too much. How old is this guy? Like 8? 9. Hats off, I don't know how you do it. So I'm guessing Phoenix isn't a religious type. And yet he personally knows the prophet herself, Maya. Although she's not the prophet. She looks kind of like her though, so I don't know if that's going to tie in. Special day full of even more prayer than usual. Pray to your heart's content. Yeah, so Phoenix is pretty apathetic to this sort of thing. So now he doesn't even know what's going on, but it involves Maya, probably. Isn't that, or I'm assuming it will. Dude, how do you not pay attention? I love that about Phoenix. He's always clueless about everything. Just because he represents the player. Like, you don't know what's going on, so he has no clue what's going on. He's been here for 2 weeks. He's talked to Maya on the phone. He's planning to see Maya. And he didn't even know what was going on. Didn't she tell you? No, nobody tells you anything. Unless it's on screen. Lady Kira. Don't know who that is. Have a foreigner play such a key role. Oh yeah, so that's what I was talking about with retconning before. This whole place is based on spirit channeling, supposedly. But I thought her mother was the one who founded it. Like the Korean technique. So there was no country based around it. Unless that country formed because of her mother, which I kind of doubt. So this seems like a retcon thing, that there's a whole country dedicated to this stuff. It really doesn't make sense. So a foreigner to what? If there's anyone who's native to spirit channeling, it'd be the daughter of the master who created the channeling technique, Korean channeling technique. I don't get that. She's the last person who should be called a foreigner here. Good question. Female warrior who fought... Okay, good thing I can go back. valiantly to establish the kingdom of Kurain. Is he gonna call him? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding something, but that's how retcons work. You didn't hear the 10-page explanation that they wrote to try and explain how the retcon is not a retcon. I'm already starting to get mad at this, but it's not a big deal. Like, who cares? It's just like the way that spirit channeling is introduced is as the Kurain technique, introduced by her mother, right? Ami Faye, or the grandmother, whatever it was. Her mother is Misty, and then there's Ami Faye. So Ami Faye is the one who founded the technique. I'm sorry, I misspoke. But regardless, that's her family line. So what does this have to do with her, the country? Is he gonna call him on his BS, the retcon? Really long story. It only takes around 2 hours to tell. Okay, dude. Yeah, that's the whole point of what we're doing here. That's the whole reason we came here. So, how come he came here, waited 2 weeks to meet her? Wouldn't he have come here and met her immediately? I don't know what that means. Not very good planning. Read up on the Wright. This will be a big part of it, I guess. Oh, is this gonna be like the Tenma Taro shit? I did not like that, to say the least. Lying there in the temple library. Did you stole it? Maya. Give it back to her. What did it say? A guide to Kurain's rights written for tourists. It's gonna be hard to actually see these the way I have it set up, but that's fine. Or wait, how are you supposed to? The priestess, high priest. Is there a way to actually? Huh. There's a moon. There's some kind of a lighthouse balcony type thing on the bottom left. There's a curtain, priestess, high priest, staging area, the compass showing north, as Lady Kira and the high priest purifies both Lady Kira and her decor, I think. I thought there'd be a way to show it on the main screen once I got into it. I guess not. It's just, I've never done it like this before. Purification Rite is a 3-part ceremony held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pani Pani. You can't tell if that's an A or an O. Whatever, Poni Pani. It begins with the transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robe, so that's Maya, of Kira, which have been purified with incense. So is the high priest going to be that girl? Probably not. Priest implies male, I think. It'd say priestess. Next is the rite of water, in which the priestess enters a spring dressed as Kira. High priest purifies both Kira and her dagger. Okay, that dagger is going to be the murder weapon, haha. Here we go. The ceremony ends with the rite of fire, in which the priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Sounds very dangerous. Fire and knives already. Let's see what else we got. A machine gun or something? The two then devote themselves to prayer until the rite comes to a close 2 days later. A little bit of overcommitment. The whole thing's a fancy way for Lady Kira to take a bath once a year. Must be nice to her, haha. Why are they making fun of their own ritual? That sounds like something Phoenix would say after reading it. Must already be there. Let's catch up. Plaza of Devotion. On a mountain. Alright. Anything else to talk about? Just the basic stuff. Any ideas and stuff like that you can do to anybody, right? like your partner. There have been a lot more tourists this year. I don't know if he gets paid for it. Why does he like him so much? Because of what I did in court? Proving one of his elders guilty of murder? Is that what makes you a fan? Purification rights? He just told you and showed you the thing. Phoenix is so dense, dude. Can I examine stuff? You wouldn't think this area is that pertinent, but why not try it? Offer a prayer now and then since you're letting me stay here. May there be a slightly softer futon tonight. He's almost mocking it, dude. Tomorrow's breakfast be a little bigger. Dude, you're like the most famous lawyer in the world. You have fucking... should have millions in the bank. Pressed by your prayerful heart. Well, he doesn't know what he said, though, of course. I wonder what his net worth is supposed to be. Phoenix Wright net worth. Do they ever say that? It should be a lot by now. Only makes money from a handful of richer ones paying him. All the time you admire Phoenix, he's not earning money. I think Lana paid him pretty well. She was obviously chief prosecutor. Let me actually think, like, go back to the beginning of the series. Larry doesn't pay him. They explicitly state that. You could say Maya doesn't pay him, but technically he inherits the law office as a result of, you know, Mia's blessing. So he takes over her law office. So that's a pretty good payment to me. Taking over an established law firm. I don't know if he pays rent. I think they say he does still pay rent, but just the namesake, the goodwill of a attorney's office is a big deal. So I consider that to be payment. The third case, Will Powers, is a star, so I don't know how much he pays you, but I'm sure he does. Edgeworth should pay you, although it's your friend. I don't know how that works, but he should. And then Lana definitely pays you. I think probably the most. The way just her demeanor is, she would probably give you a huge payout. And then second game, Maggie Bird probably pays you a little bit, or maybe you're doing her a favor too. Second case, you probably don't get paid for that one. That's just one of those throwaway ones. Case 3, you get paid by Max, probably a good amount actually, because Max is pretty rich from all his magic acts. And once you see his salary, you'll be like, oh shit, dude. Should have charged him more. And then case 4, of course. See, in real life, even if you did what you did to Matt, he would still pay you at the beginning something. So I'm guessing you don't get paid, but realistically you still should get something up front. Then trials and tribulations. This is kind of a fun topic. Who asked you to defend them in case 1? Phoenix himself, so you might get paid a little bit. Case 2 is against Luke Atme. Rhonda Light does have some money in terms of being a thief, but I don't know how much he actually gives you. I think Desi spends it all. And then case 3, Furio Tigre. The defendant is Maggie again, of course, so she probably pays you a little bit. How much could she even pay you? She's just a waitress anyway. So those are some of the less important people who don't have money. Case 4, you're defending a convict, so that must just be like a state appointed level almost. So you gotta think you get next to nothing for that. And it's her first case too. In case 5, you're defending Maya again. So you probably don't make much for that or anything. Or wait, it's in like channeled form. So whatever. But yeah, you probably don't make much for that. And then Apollo Justice. Well, that's not even Phoenix. The point is, he doesn't make too much money, even though he should. Blessings upon you. Okay, can't examine that. Is that the mountain we're going to? One of these? Examine these banners. Where's those buildings over there? Training halls. Everybody's training. So monks are different, obviously, than mediums, but... meditating while standing on their heads, not while standing under a waterfall like Maya. Okay. This guy's a bit too enthusiastic. Here's the fountain. Gorgeous spring. Guiding waters. Mitama. I don't know what that is. They probably explained it in case 1. Just don't go in it. Is that supposed to be like an innuendo for like it being sewage water or something sacred? Probably more on the sacred side. That's all the same piece. That's all good. I thought there was one more thing up here. I guess that's it. Alright. Let me show him some evidence. What does he think of me being a lawyer? I don't know if I had a chance to do all this in case 1. Probably not. I don't think there was any investigation. It was just... oh no, I think they gave you a brief period at the very beginning. Before you get arrested. Beautiful badge. Kind of like a sunflower. Okay. He doesn't know though, does he? Too bad you can't examine them like in the other games, like even Rise from the Ashes. Like I'd love to examine and then turn it around and read what he says about the back. That's a feature I think everyone would like to have back. And what does he think about that? He just gave me new tourist souvenir. Apparently it is. He just gave it to me. He's so sad. Let's move somewhere. What happened? Ew. What is that? Plaza of Devotion. I hate that name. Temple, really, dude? So cold. The cool thing is this does actually have animation in the background, so like the rat moving across we saw. So they couldn't get up and walk around, right? Maybe not, but... yeah, just wear a jacket. Sorry, I was kind of talking over that part. Let's see. It's cold. Look at these people. This is the day we offer prayers to Kira. I'm gonna keep thinking of Death Note. Kira. Oh god. Everyone's devoted. Couldn't we do it someplace warmer? The inner sanctum. So a murder is gonna take place, and please don't let Maya be accused. Like I hate that. They've used that device too many times. In the first game, in the second game, somewhat in the third game, like, come on, dude. It doesn't always have to be about that. Everyone is deeply religious. The land of prayer. 15. How is that even possible? Well, that doesn't really count. Piety is the glory of people. So he's seen her, but Phoenix hasn't yet? Oh, noble traveler.
How do you fare, Mr. Wright? It's been many a day.
And, who might you be? Maya?
That's all we get, huh? Voice acting's not bad. She's being all studious and stoic. He's already weirded out. Her face looks a little different, like her lips. How old is she supposed to be now? Like 20 something? 28? Okay, I guess I underestimated just how much further it is. I knew it was in the 20s, but long time no see. Something with her face just seems different. Doesn't that seem almost sinister, the way she's looking at you? Oh, she was just acting. I thought she really had changed. I don't like her lips. Something about them seems fakey. Korean village. Many years ago. Yeah. Really 28 years old. Kind of hard to picture. A real bot. I guess. It's odd how in that entire time you were with Morgan Fay, they never once mentioned this country. Surely it couldn't be a retcon, right? Surely. As if Morgan wouldn't have some attachment to it, or at least mention it. Oh, really? It originated here? Dude. What did Ami Faye do? I already found a contradiction. Ami Faye. So the only way they could justify that discrepancy is saying, oh, well, Ami Faye was from this country, and she, the Faye clan was part of this country, and it all has to do with here. But they never say that whatsoever. Everything implies it was just something they did on their own. Like, it wasn't something to do with an entire country being based around it. I don't see how you can say that's not a retcon. Like, that is a bold-faced fucking retcon. Inventor of the Korean technique. And so how does that make Maya a foreigner? Isn't she the daughter of, or the granddaughter, whatever, of the person who invented it? It doesn't even make any sense. Whatever. That's a legitimate gripe. Look what Phoenix just said. This is where the technique originates. So Ami Faye is from here. That's the only way I can reconcile it. But no one ever mentioned this place. Pious nun, you did. Are we gonna get to see Mia again? Like, is there a shelf life on how long you can channel the same person after they die? It's been like over 10 years. Mature on the outside, but that's how we like it. Yeah, exactly. So let's examine some of this stuff first. Whoops. Little staircase up top. Oh, don't talk about the gate, I'm asking about the stairs. Inner sanctum. Holy people. You won't even get to watch. I don't like this expression. It worked when she was younger, but now it looks just awkward. Like she actually is evil. We said these are prayer flags. Carried throughout the kingdom by the wind. Praise for some better breakfast. That's how your mind works, Phoenix. Oh yeah, oh, of course. That never happens to you. Trouble doesn't follow you wherever you go. Clearly not. half the cases in the series are you just people you immediately know either being accused of murder or being killed themselves. Usually the same people over and over again. When will people learn? Don't mess with the friend of a defense attorney. No one's moved a muscle because it's easier to animate that way. 2 days straight. That's what the brochure said. But you still have to do a lot. Okay, this animation looks good. Like those gloves she's got, or whatever they are, like the bracers. When in Rome. That rhymed, but what did she mean by that? I don't really get the context of that, but okay. Localization, by the way. So it's all the same. So what did she think about me being a lawyer? Always have to remind people of that. Probably the most famous lawyer in the world by now, you should be. Oh yeah, this prosecutor is kind of lame too. I didn't really like him in case 2. We didn't really see him do anything too impressive. Badge back. See, that's how long it's been. Bluffing the day away. Sounds like something Kristoff would say. That's why he hated me, because he felt like I didn't deserve me being Phoenix. Deserve the success I got. Oh yeah, that kid stole it. That's a good animation too. I just don't like the sinister one. My library of guidebooks has $2 donation policy. Okay, not much to really present. So how does it feel to be 28? Yeah, what a shocker. The Phoenix technically didn't do anything wrong. At least it wasn't like Phoenix was accused. He just volunteers to help somebody in need, which is cool. It wasn't really come from behind win, it's just more so the system was rigged against him. Everyone was just against him. It was, dude. That's not even accurate. It was your finest hour. You were up against a whole system of law. Dude, Phoenix should have more pride. He should be more of an alpha now. Like, he's done so much good shit. Finished the bulk of training. So now we'll have a chief prosecutor friend in Edgeworth and a spirit channeling master in Maya. This dude has some powerful friends. Special meditation course for increasing spiritual power. 2 years. Feels like it's been way longer than 2 years, but whatever. A foreigner. Dude. You're off the bloodline of the person who invented the technique. How is that a foreigner? That makes no sense. High Priest's wife usually conducts it each year. But, baby on the way, how convenient. Okay, so you're a substitute. That's good though, that's how you gain clout and rep. Yeah, she channeled Mia, that's about all we've seen her do successfully. She didn't even channel anyone in the second case of the second game. She was like knocked out. Best Lady Cure Garden Deity. That could be the name of like a movie, Marvel movie. Not to end in flaming disaster. Don't joke like that, you know they're going to. I just don't want her to be the defendant. That would be so dumb, dude. Guardian. Oh, is it going to be a Morgan Fay connection somehow? I guess Morgan didn't know about this country that didn't exist yet, according to that case. You will be portraying today. Isn't really a deity in the way we think of them back home. Oh, so that guy's dressed like it? She actually existed. And somebody's dressing up as her and killing people as a vigilante. A champion of justice who defeats the kingdom's enemy. Dagger. Really popular if all these people are here for her. Or it could just be like a coerced tradition that you have to do. Why is this Wright so popular? Been actual sightings. But don't you know that people have been killed? Aren't those murder cases that you should be worrying about? She gets rid of their leader, Dirk. Oh yeah, I remember them mentioning Dirk too. So we'll definitely see what he's about. Rebel Hunter. Legendary figure back to life. Real picture of her on the front page. About 2 years. So is this like one of those things where the government is secretly okay with it and they're actually the one behind it, but they just use it to hide, like whenever they want to kill someone they don't like, they have this person do it and they cover it up for them? Because that would be kind of a good way of doing it. So instead of just killing your political enemies, you have a vigilante, quote unquote, who's working for you or with you, and then you cover their tracks. So you can just blame it on them and keep making excuses as to why you can't catch them. That would be a good setup if it was true. Can't believe someone's actually able to capture her own film. Could be some fan. Like a cosplayer. Trained in hand-to-hand combat. Okay, that's a good justification. That gives you a good reason to respect their ability. Real deal, as in someone dressing up as them, not the actual person. Okay. I don't know how many of those you have over here. Oh, there's the other animation. Does she have any new ones? You are, and I like that. Got a real office to run now. Ed Chalso. Not the spiky hair. So you think it's the real deal? Yeah, we'll find out, I'm sure. Newspaper from the morning of the purification rite. It reports on Lady Kira's activities, among other things. And of course, as always, Phoenix hadn't heard of this until now. even though he's been here for 2 weeks. Newspaper from the Purification Wright reports. Yeah, I just read that. Lady Kira returns to battle rebels. Lady Kira-like figure that appeared 2 years ago remains a mystery. Some town elders see her as Lady Kira in the flesh. As rumors are fueling the enthusiasm for today's Purification Rite. The thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum to the Plaza of Devotion until yesterday has melted. So this will be one of those you couldn't, like an alibi for somebody. I couldn't go there and kill the guy because the ice was there and then it melted. It's like the monkey head dropping in Samurai Turnabout, right? It's gonna be used that way. Or like the blackout, like, oh, I couldn't do this because of the ice. Of course. The rite can go now as planned. We give thanks for the blessings of the Holy Mother and Lady Kira. Police are asking the kingdom subjects to be on the lookout for a male insurgent who escaped from Royal Penitentiary 4 yesterday. Wonder how that's gonna work. Is he gonna be the victim? It couldn't be the killer because the killer is going to be that masked person. New food idea. Soul bun. Kira bun. Oh, is it supposed to be like, because that joke didn't really make sense the way I'm reading it. Like about a Kira business strategy. It's supposed to be killer business strategy. The way that you say it in Japanese. That's why Death Note Kira is Kira, because it's supposed to mean killer. So I don't think that works in translation. Talk about a Kira, like Kila. It doesn't really work. If I hadn't seen Death Note, I wouldn't even know that. You're running around dressed as Lady Kira. Unmasked. It will be today. Oh god. Superstitious people. Minion of the Defiant Dragons. Okay, dude. Good comic relief. It is nice seeing Maya like this, though. I thought she might have actually changed. Okay. They're building up these rebels as being quite competent, though. Like, they're very experienced and hardcore. Yeah. I hope there's no murder. Does tend to follow you around when you're alone in a room with anybody ever. Please don't be the defendant. Please don't be the defendant. Oh god, that would be so bad. He wears these really big bells on his ankles. That way I know he's coming. That's gonna be one of those things that's used as evidence. We heard the bells, we didn't hear the bells. Stop slacking warning system. Except when you first introduced yourself. I doubt that. Zealot. Dude, these names. What is with these names? Red and saffron robe. Abbot in me. Like, have it in me? Okay, so we're not getting any of these profiles yet. Practitioner of Kukurian channeling technique we use to take on all sorts of cases together, usually involving her. He's a disciple of the priest. I'm trying to figure out these name puns because they're so bad so far. I guess have it in me, abbot in me. Without moving a muscle. Let's see what he looks like. Is he gonna be the killer? He might be the defendant. It's obviously gonna be Maya because she'll be dressed as the killer, quote unquote, but the real one will come and kill somebody. That's the sacred robe Maya will be wearing. I can see where that's going. Case of mistaken identity. It's probably the same one that was used. But then it can't be used here. Or she'll be knocked out again and then it'll be used. Phoenix is staring. A lot bigger than I thought. Time to enter the prayer pose like everyone else. Yeah, see, it's not popularity, it's compelled behavior. Too bad we don't get to see that. All I can see is black. 2 days, right?